Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire is probably the best MonsterVerse film and one of my top 5 favourite Godzilla films in general. Yes, you've heard me. I loved Godzilla X Kong. I just came back from watching it in theatres. So yeah, it's Godzilla speaking right now. I got all my group. However, they're currently sleeping or standing up. So besides Mechagodzilla, who's having a tantrum over there, oh, I should have been in the film. Oh my god, this is so rigged. Oh my god. Shut up, Mechagodzilla. I don't want you moaning this whole video, alright? So yeah, Godzilla X Kong was the most powerful Godzilla film in my opinion. Yeah, and quick disclaimer, this is a spoiler review, so if you haven't watched the film, I would not say you should watch this video. I wouldn't recommend it. Anyways, so basically, when I used to make prediction rankings, and at first I thought Godzilla X Kong would be my second favourite. My second favourite film after Godzilla 2014. I thought Godzilla 2014 was really powerful and that nothing could beat it. Literally nothing. Because of how strong the film was, and its overall really, really good cast of characters. Anyways, before we get started, be sure to subscribe and that should say like, but I don't know why I'm holding another subscribe button. Oh, whatever. So the thing is, let's get started. So this film is actually incredible. So this film's really heats. It's got everything you'd want in an action film. Now, Godzilla doesn't really do that much. It's mostly focused to Kong, but either way, you can still get some really, really good monster action. And look, Godzilla vs. Kong's turned 3 days ago. So, after 3 years of waiting, we finally get another Godzilla movie. And it's, when I entered out of the theatres, I remember watching, when it ended, I gave a big round of applause, and as soon as I entered out, I was just thinking how long it would be till another Godzilla film was made. I adore this franchise. The MonsterVerse is debatably, possibly my favourite. It's got all the powerful messages. My favourite version of Godzilla, which is yet again incredibly debatable, but yeah, and just how nice that it was to see this movie in general. It was really good. When it ended, I was just wondering how long I'd have to wait for the next film. Up next will be -1 though. Yeah, a lot of you are going to hate me for this, but let me be honest. I haven't watched Godzilla -1. I'm sorry. I can tell you it's probably going to be amazing, but no, I haven't watched it yet. I'm sorry to say that to those who have watched it, but no, I haven't watched Godzilla -1. I did actually mention it in one of my reviews that it never uploaded in the end, but it was in one of my reviews. I used it as a spare ranking even though I did not know what the movie was about at all. Well, I did, but I hadn't seen anything. But I just put a random placement that I thought would fit very well because I could tell just by the footage and people's opinions that it would still fit in the ranking. I've basically been told the lore of Godzilla -1. Anyways, that's not the thing right now, so first of all, besides the main protagonist in 2014, and the 2014 cast, this is my favourite ever matchup of cast. The cast in Godzilla King of the Monsters was bad because it was mainly focused on the Russell family that just really didn't work for me. Godzilla vs. Kong had a similar cast with my legendary Bernie. Bernie is my second favourite human character. Bernie is just so good. I don't know why. It's just, I love his humour. There was even a scene of him recording footage of the Hollow Earth, and I don't know why, I just laughed so hard. He was like, the Hollow Earth, my guy, there's so much dangerous stuff around there, and bro only cares about his camera. I loved it. And Gia as well. Gia is the sweetest character ever. She's just so amazing. Not only the shots of her, in most clips, for example, when she's going to meet Mothra, they're all beautiful. And not only that, she's just so hard to not like. She's so sweet, and she's got very good lore of her having nightmares about what's below the Hollow Earth. It's some really nice lore. Not trying to make this sound like FNAF, but yeah, it is really good lore. I did not expect the cast to be this good. As much as I love Millie Bobby Brown for most of her roles, I will admit, I feel like this is one of her worst roles. I'm not a big fan of her in the Godzilla franchise, so I'm glad they cut her out of the film. Because I'm pretty sure she was working on another film or series. But yeah, anyways, besides maybe Bernie and the main 2014 protagonist, I feel like Gia's my favourite by far. Gia is just so sweet, and the ending scene, I'm going to talk about the ending now actually. So basically it was like Gia found an Ui tribe, and she could have stayed with them, but in the end she chose to stay with what is now her mother. So, which I'm really glad that happened, because if she chose the Ui tribe, unless it was another, like, I really hope they make another sequel for this film, by the way. It'll be so heartbreaking if they don't. Like a lot of people complain that the humans are bad in this one, but nah, they're actually really fun. I don't get why they're disliked. And so, basically, like I was saying, in the end, Gia could choose. Oh, and I also forgot to tell you about these shots. So there were two specific shots that were shown in the leaked footage, but not in the actual film. So this shot right here, I already knew since when I first saw it that this was like a teaser shot and probably a hallucination of Godzilla and Kong's skull. I was like, that can't be in the film, and I was right, it wasn't. But I'll admit, it was really cool, so slightly sad it wasn't in the actual film, but yeah, I did see it coming that Scar King, this shot of Scar King right here, that was posted back in April 2023, so it was their first ever leak. Yeah, I kind of saw it coming that it wouldn't be in the film. Unless it was like Gia's hallucination of Godzilla and Kong dying to Scar King. Like Godzilla dying to Shima and Kong dying to Scar King. And there's this other shot of legendary Godzilla who is sleeping. Like, it was included in the film, but it didn't have the texture look like that. Like, you couldn't really see Godzilla's spikes. Yeah, in this shot, Godzilla's spikes are more clear. If you watch the actual film, you'll know what I mean. Unless maybe it was just like the brightness of the room, and this is actually what it did look like, but I'm pretty sure it never looked like that. It was just brightness to make it more specific that it was Godzilla. So, yeah. But yeah, so Gia had to... I'm so sorry that I got interrupted twice, by the way. So basically, Gia had to choose between the Ui tribe and her mother, which one she wanted to stay with. And I was hoping for her to pick the mother, because then it could have made a possible sequel. Like, even if she picked the Ui tribe, there still could have been a sequel. Like, if there was a sequel, like, that just contained the Ui tribe in and Kong, maybe they could somehow get back together again. But I feel like I'm much more comfortable with Gia staying with the mother. I feel like it's a better choice, and it also means bigger chances of sequels. Now, the mother was a good character in this film, and I really liked the dentist guy that pulled Kong's tooth out. And Bernie as well, amazing. I'm so glad that the guy that led them to the Hollow Earth died near the start, because he was just not fun. I didn't really like him. I'm so glad they killed him off. But yeah, so Gia chooses to stay with the mother, which I'm really happy with. But unlike in GVK, when I just acted like they were normal human characters, besides Bernie, I really loved him. I just acted like they were normal human characters in GVK, but in GXK it changed so much. Gia was such a powerful character in GXK. I don't even know what to say. She was so good. Like, a sweet character, an enjoyable character, a character with a good backstory. I just don't know how I couldn't love her, and yeah, she was a really good addition to the Monsterverse. And I forgot to mention, in the scene where we first see Bernie, which I was really happy about because I love Bernie, he had a Godzilla figure in his room. I'm really glad that they chose to include some Godzilla merch for the movie. Like, there was the Battle Royale Godzilla figure in his room. Now, I was expecting it to be SH Monster Arts, but no. So, before we move on to what I don't like, I don't really hate anything about the film, actually. I'm just saying what could have been improved. But yeah, last thing, I'm going to say that the monster action was really, really good. The fight scene was so good. The Egypt scene, the Brazil scene. I could have never imagined those moves that all the kaijus did on each other. It was insane. And unique creatures as well. I will go on about the kaijus near the end of this review. But for now, I'm going to talk about stuff that would have been really cool to see. So I should have changed the title to what I think could have been improved to what should have been added, because I don't hate anything. If there was something I did dislike a little bit, I wish the movie was longer, man. Like, second shortest after GVK, that's a shame, because it could have developed so much. And, like, it was originally 2 hours 20, so it's a shame they changed it. And next of all, the fight Godzilla had with Skylar was way too rushed. Like, Skylar's a cool creature. We could have seen him use some cool abilities on Godzilla. However, Skylar was almost instant killed, like, at the start of the film. So that's a shame. So what I feel like could have been added was something that I, for some reason, got in my head to... Like, I don't know why I wanted it to be added, it just got into my head. I really wish Biolante got a cameo. Some of you are going to be thinking, what? You're going to be like, where did Biolante come from? So you know the crystals in Hollow Earth, right? Like, all the crystals we see. Yeah, I feel like that would have really suited Biolante. I'm not going to lie, it's the Hollow Earth. It sounds like a home Biolante could live in. Like, while Kong was travelling, he could have encountered Biolante by, like, the river. Like, in the scene where, after he kills the serpent thing, like, they could have encountered Biolante by the river, evolving from a rose to an actual creature. And I wish Kong had more fights with the, like, more unique creatures in the Hollow Earth, like for example, a 4-legged T-Rex with spider wings. Imagine how cool that would have been, like a giant T-Rex. Or, like, a giant Sarcosuchus. Imagine, or even skull crawlers. Like, imagine how cool it would have been to see King Kong fight so many creatures. Like, not too many, but it could have been fitting if they kept the 2-hour-20 timing in. And next of all, what else could have been added? Well, I actually forgot. I remember. I should have actually listed this down. But yeah, there was one other thing I wish could have been added, but I completely forgot. I wish, like, I would have found it cool. Like, in the scene where Kong was looking at the crystals, I thought it would have been cool if it showed Godzilla inside the crystals. Like, for example, him and his lair. He wakes up and he fights this creature I found on a Roblox game called Kaiju Battlegrounds called Genesis. That's a huge creature. It could have been cool to see that. And just Godzilla swimming through places in the water before he arrives to Rome. Like, fighting many creatures, like in the Godzilla Dominion thing with that giant fish, Titanus Amalek, even Titanus Behemoth. So, the plot, doesn't really work. Like, the plot is kind of, like, actually, no, it kind of does with Gia and all those characters, but with the comedy characters, no, it doesn't. But hey, comedy's gotta be there somewhere, right? Like, yeah. But yeah, I should have changed it. Like, I kind of rushed the editing of this video, so unfortunately I accidentally put plot. Not really what I meant. I meant, like, the whole storyline. And while I go through it, I'm going to review the scenes. So, the opening scene, which I thought would start off with Godzilla in Rome, it started off with Kong getting chased by warthogs. And yeah, it was a really cool chase. And it contained some cool scenery in the background while Kong was just running. And yeah, that was a cool scene. Also, the warthogs up close, they looked terrifying. Like, they surprisingly looked much creepier than I thought, and I like it because it makes for good design. I wish he kind of fought back a bit more, though. And next up, was... It then cut to a scene of Skylar attacking Rome, and Godzilla waking up, and the 30-second fight, like I said, it should have been longer, but oh well. And then we cut to... After that's finished, Godzilla sleeps in the Colosseum, and this may sound weird, but it was actually kind of cute. And then we cut to a bit of human scenes in Gia in school, hallucinating, and that's the start of Gia, and I was already liking her. Like, she's interesting, she sounds sweet, she sounds like she has a good role. And then it cuts to the intro of the film, and Godzilla then wakes up and leaves, and then we get to see Kong and all of the characters enter back to Hollow Earth. Well, actually, no, then it was Kong getting a new tooth, but then after that, they all travel back into the Hollow Earth, where Gia would meet the Ui tribe, and Bernie would film his video, and Kong would meet Suko. And not gonna lie, Suko I thought would just be funny, but when Suko is actually showing emotion, I feel so bad for him. Like, the way he got beat up by Kong at the start after he bit him, it was honestly kind of sad to see, like, a young Kong getting attacked like that. It's kind of sad. And I must say, Kong in this film was much better than Godzilla vs. Kong. Like, don't get me wrong, I still like Godzilla quite a lot more than I like Kong. It's a shame that he was kind of a side character. But I'll admit, Kong's a huge improvement. I wasn't as keen on him in VK, but GXK, he showed so much emotions and cool fights. Like, and the way he almost cried when he saw the skull of his family, it was really sad. Like, yes, the apes in this film did actually cry a couple of times. And that's when we cut to Kong and Suko. Well, after they had a fight with a few apes that fought Kong, and Kong used Suko as a weapon, which was sad. But after that, they then encounter the giant sea serpent. They eat the sea serpent after they kill it. And then we cut to Godzilla destroying a city with radiation, which I found a really cool scene. And his roars, I forgot to tell you, Godzilla's roars were so loud on the volume. I can't believe it. They sounded so good though. And ignore that final wars photo. That was just for fun. That was added there for fun. And then we then cut to more Kong stuff, which I really like. And then Godzilla goes to hibernate, and then he fights Tiamat, which is a really good scene, by the way. Which was, unfortunately, it was also quite short, but could have been longer, but it was still good. Like, I really enjoyed it. And it was nice to see a character from the comics get an appearance. Afterwards, Kong enters the cave where Scar King is, and we get a fire shot of Scar King on the temple chair and all the other apes. It was surprisingly so much more hype than I thought it would be. The music, Scar King, the apes. I will admit, Scar King was probably my least favourite of the main ones, but he was still menacing, and bro was walking like a zombie. He was insane. And the way Shimo entered, all that stuff. Like, the way Shimo entered and attacked Kong, it was so cool. And then shortly after, Godzilla and Kong encounter in Egypt. They fight, and Kong suffers the same fate of getting stepped on. And then Mothra comes in. Mothra is beautiful in this film. And then, yeah, we just had the final fight, which had really insane moves. I'll let you check that out yourself. Now, that's going to wrap up the video. I just remembered what my other con was. So, instead of Godzilla and Kong just immediately charging after them, I feel like it would have been cool to see Godzilla and Kong explore the place first, and Godzilla meets Suko and attempt to kill him when Kong stops him. Godzilla and Kong then walk into the temple. They see Scar King, Shimo, and the other apes, and they chase them out, and that's what creates the iconic chase scene and fight. That would have been cool to see. So yeah, it's a shame they didn't add that. And yeah, overall, this film was a blast. I really recommend you check it out. I am really sorry if you didn't like the film, but much love to Warner Brother. They'd never disappoint. Anyways, I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to sub.